All right, hello, folks. Hello, hello. So we're actually doing something special today. We're live on TikTok too, on top of being live on Facebook. This is exciting, right? I mean, it's exciting to me, okay? But with that being said, hello and welcome to KUHS Colorado, the show where we keep you informed on all things Colorado, live from KUHS Radio. Today is Wednesday, March 6th. I'm your host, Luis Live. Feel free to reach out to us through TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. And of course, give us a follow to stay in the loop on all Denver news, and that's at KUHS Denver. So, um, so this show, let's start with this, okay? This show is brought to you by 88 Concrete, Concrete Done Right. You can call them for a free quote at 720-987-8206. That's 720-987-8206. And let me tell you this though, before we get into the show. I went over to one of ADA's gigs, right, where they were working on a new driveway, because I'll never sell you something or talk about an advertiser that I know firsthand is great, okay? And let me tell you this, they do really good work. I want to hire them for my house. Longer story, we can come back to that in a minute. But with that being said, let's just get into the show, okay? There's a lot going on in Denver. Today's stories are kind of long, but let's just get into it, right? It's the weekend. Hang in there. We can get through this. So, today's snowstorm. From what we're seeing, happy Friday, Denver, right? And yes, that is snow falling outside. After highs near 70 yesterday, the storm we've been watching all week has arrived. Snow started moving into the metro this morning, and forecasters say we could see on and off flurries through the evening before it wraps up around midnight. The good news, ground temperatures are warm enough that almost all of this is melting on contact, so accumulation along the I-25 corridor may be minimal, but if you're heading into the mountains this weekend, it's a different story. The high country is picking up most of the snow, and winter weather advisories are in effect through Saturday morning. Expect slick roads heading west on I-70 tonight and into the morning. Drive carefully out there and check conditions before you hit the road. So, just drive safe. The western slope is a whole other issue, especially if you're visiting Denver, right? I know the city seems very manageable if you're not used to the snow. The western slope is a whole other beast, so please be safe out there. Drive responsibly, right? All that fun stuff. Hey, shout out to our one live viewer on TikTok. I hope you're enjoying the show. So, measles outbreak declared in Broomfield. Colorado health officials have officially declared a measles outbreak in Broomfield, the state's first of 2026. 3 cases are now confirmed, all in unvaccinated children. 2 are students at Broomfield High School, and the third is a child in Adams County who contacted one of those students, right? Dozens of unvaccinated students and staff have been told to stay home for at least 21 days. That's the CDC standard playbook to break the chain of transmission. State Chief Medical Officer Dr. Ned Kalange told CPR News that this is about protecting a much bigger problem. Health officials have posted a list of possible exposure sites, including a Chick-fil-A in Broomfield, a Chipotle in Westminster, Broomfield Heights Middle School, and the Broomfield Community Center. If you were at any of those locations in late February, watch for symptoms for 21 days. The symptoms are fever, cough, runny nose, red eyes, then a rash. And here's what you need to know. So if you haven't had the MMR vaccine, you can still get it within 72 hours of exposure. The full list of exposure locations is on the State Health Department's website. Colorado had 36 measles cases last year, the most in years. So we understand why, right? So the most in years. We're already at 4 and counting right now. So get vaccinated, folks. It's just what you got to do. I'm sorry. So Governor Polis signals clemency for Tina Peters. So this story is a little complicated and it's a little long. Okay, so just hang with me, and I will tell you what you need to know. Okay. So Governor Polis signals clemency for Tina Peters. This is one of the biggest political stories right now in Colorado, right? Governor Jared Polis is signaling he may be open to granting clemency to former Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters, who is serving a 9-year prison sentence for tampering with the election equipment back in 2020. Here's what set this off. Last week, former state senator Sonia Jacques Lewis was sentenced to probation and community service after being convicted on 4 felonies, including the same charge that Peters was convicted of, attempting to influence a public official. Polis posted on social media that the sentence gap was hard to ignore and extended the clemency application deadline to April 3rd. Polis told 9 News he'd want to see what he called an appropriate contrition and an apology from Peters before making a decision. But the pushback has been fast and loud. Attorney General Phil Weiser called the reduction a grave miscarriage of justice. Secretary of State Jana Griswold said comparing the 2 cases is inaccurate and called the governor's statement shocking. The Colorado Sun reports that not a single Democrat in the state legislature supports reducing Peters' sentence. Meanwhile, President Trump has been publishing for Peters' release for months. He pardoned her in December, but that had no legal effect because this is a state conviction. Polis is term limited and leaves office in early 2027, so we'll keep watching this one for you. Shout out to Marco. Hey Marco, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us on TikTok Live. But with that being said, Marco, I know you love to go out to eat. Marco, he's a foodie and he knows good food. So this story might interest you, friend. So, the Denver restaurant industry is in crisis. If you've noticed your favorite restaurants struggling or closing, there's now a 68-page report that explains why. The Denver Restaurant Liaison Project, commissioned by the city's Economic Development Office and Visit Denver, surveyed scores of local restaurant owners and brokers. The takeaway: the cost of running a restaurant in Denver has become unsustainable. Labor costs are up to 50 to 55% since 2019. The tip minimum wage has nearly doubled. Menu prices are up by about 28%, but actual sales have only grown around 5%. The report says restaurants would have needed a 36 to 40% jump in sales just to break even with rising expenses. That is crazy, folks. Okay, so the permitting process isn't sorry, excuse me, I banged the mic. The permitting process isn't helping either. The report says it could take 3 to 9 months to open a restaurant in Denver, costing operators around $70,000 a month in the meantime. $70,000 a month for up to 9 months. That is insanity. That's pushing small businesses to the suburbs and scaring off national brands. That makes sense, right? Councilman Darrell Watson told the Denver Post that he plans to propose a change to the city's tipped wage policy before the end of this month. This matters to all of us. 1 in 12 Denver jobs comes from the restaurant industry, and restaurants generate 13% of the city's sales tax. And I'm telling you, folks, restaurants are the lifeline of this city, because not only because obviously food, right, but they support a lot of workers in the sense that like a lot of college students, high school kids, people that are just working second jobs on top of their professional ones. This is a big story, folks, and I just know that I'm rooting for you if you run a restaurant. I know plenty of people that own them, even anything from small taco truck to the big franchise, whatever, right? I'm rooting for you guys. Restaurants are something special, and working at one, if you haven't, I highly recommend it. So, but let me stay focused. I'm sorry, I have so much love for local businesses. So, a quick RTD line update. A quick update for A-line riders. A vehicle crashed earlier this week, damaged a crossing arm on the line. It did not involve a train, but it knocked out service at Centennial Park, Peoria, and 40th and airport stations. Shuttle buses were running in place of trains, so check RTD's alerts for the next ride app before you head out today, especially if you're catching a flight. Hey, Bunny. Shout out to Bunny for swinging by. Buddy Blake here in Denver makes incredible music. Go check her out. So, but let me move on to the next story. I know this is a weird transition, but avian flu disaster declared in Weld County. So Governor Polis has formally signed an executive order for a disaster declaration tied to bird flu outbreak in Weld County. This goes back to late January with an egg-laying facility with more than 1.3 million chickens tested positive for highly pathogenic avian influenza. All of those birds have been culled. Quarantine orders are in place in Weld County and Logan counties. The state veterinarian told CPR News this virus has a mortality rate near 100% in poultry. The good news, no confirmed human cases from this outbreak. State officials say cooked eggs and poultry are safe to eat. If you keep backyard chickens, the Department of Agriculture is asking you to monitor your flock and report any unusual sickness or deaths. So, this is serious, folks. And I don't know if you remember, there was a time, I want to say like, maybe give or take 12, 14 months ago, when eggs were like $8, $12 a carton. It was because of a similar avian outbreak flu. So that's just kind of giving you some context to as why stuff is happening. I know it just seems like everything is chaos all the time, but I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of explanation if that helps at all. But let's take a quick moment though. I just want to take a break and we're going to play a little message and we'll come back to a message from our sponsor, so hang tight.
Connect the dots so you don't just hear the news, you understand it. Denver Today, Wednesdays and Fridays at noon. Hosted by Luis Bustos. Your city, your stories. On KUHSdenver.com. Denver moves fast. Don't get left behind.
What is up, friends? We're
Denver
off the air right
Today
now. There's a
brings
little
you
ad
the
playing.
top headlines from around the city and explains why they matter. Hosted by Luis Bustos, Wednesday and Friday at noon.
Whose username is
Real
Teasler?
News, Real Denver on KUHSdenver.com.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for joining us anyway. All right, folks. Thank you for your patience. We are back, but I guess let me just do this by the book. We'll do this right. We'll do it once and do it right. So, hello and welcome back to KUHS Colorado, the show where I keep you in the loop on all things Denver and beyond. So, before we get back to the show, I want to share with you that this episode is brought to you by ADA Concrete. When it comes to concrete, you don't get a second chance. So that's why the homeowners and business owners across Colorado trust ADA Concrete for quality work that lasts. From driveways, garage doors, or garage floors and sidewalks to commercial foundations, concrete slabs, asphalt, and snow removal, their team delivers reliable results with professional craftsmanship. No shortcuts, no rush jobs, just solid work built to handle Colorado weather. Call 88 Concrete today for your next project at 720 987 8206. That is 720 987 8206. And like I said previously, I checked out their work 2 weekends ago before we made all this happen, and they do great work, so I highly recommend them. Um, and with that being said, let's just roll back into it. I'm going to slow down a little bit. I feel like I flew through the first half of the show, but I really want to make sure I get all this information to you, okay? So, the Brown Palace Hotel is listed for sale. I have a special place in my heart for the Brown Palace just because it's so beautiful and it's like one of those things that sets Denver apart. But let me give you the details on what's going on. So, one of Denver's most iconic buildings is on the market, the Brown Palace Hotel and Spa. A downtown landmark since 1892 has been listed for sale by its current owner, Texas-based Crescent Real Estate. They brought the hotel and the adjacent Holiday Inn Express in 2018 for $125 million. There's no public asking price. Business Den first reported that the story. Crescent's ownership has been bumpy, staff layoffs, a boiler fire, a brief closure of the Palace Arms restaurant, and a full management change. A new company, Highgate, took over about a year ago, and things have reportedly improved. The CEO of Historic Denver, John Deffenbaugh, told the Denver Gazette that there's lots of curiosity about what's next. He said the building's sandstone and stained glass need ongoing care with the hope, and he hopes the next owner will make preservation on priority. Yeah, we'll make preservation priority because it's beautiful, but it takes a lot of work. We have one of our listeners, I know, Marco. He does work in these kind of historic buildings, and it is very complicated, very nuanced because it's old. So, the Brown Palace is Denver's second oldest hotel still in operation. Nearly every U.S. president since Teddy Roosevelt has stayed there. This is one to watch. It's just super cool. The Brown Palace brings so much culture and history to Denver. I love it. I love that hotel. So, let's just get into it, right? So I want to talk about what's going on this weekend. This is the fun part of our show. We've talked measles, we've talked polis, we've talked tragedy, we've talked snow, but now we get to have a little fun, okay? So, your weekend. I know we talked about this last time on the show, but it is Restaurant Week here in Denver. So, the snow may be falling, but your weekend is looking good. There's a ton going on, so let's get into it. Denver Restaurant Week. First up, Denver Restaurant Week kicks off today and runs through March 15th. More than 270 restaurants across the metro area are offering a multi-course prix-fixe menu at four price points at $25, $35, $45, or $55 per person. That's an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert, and some spots even throw in a drink. We love that. We love free stuff. Whether you're looking for a date night or a solo treat yourself dinner, this is your move. A few standouts to look at: Ship Tavern inside the Brown Palace, yes, yes. Champagne Tiger on Colfax. They do live piano and drag brunches. I know that's the big thing in Denver. We love it. And L5 in Lohi for the rooftop views and Mediterranean food. If you like ramen or hand-pulled noodles, check out Yu's Noodle Shop down in Lone Tree. You can browse all the menus and filter by price, neighborhood, and cuisine at denverrestaurantweek.com. That's denverrestaurantweek.com. Day night and Friday night specials. Okay, so done deal. The cocktail bar from Chef Troy Guard is running couple specials every Friday evening. Eddie Merlot's in the Tech Center has a $55 prix-fixe with filet mignon and carrot cake, and if you want to keep it casual, the Jacquard Hotel is offering a 3-course dinner for $45 on Sunday with locally sourced ingredients. Live entertainment and events. Okay, so let's talk about the other fun stuff, right? Once you got that food in you, once you got a little drink in you, let's find a show, okay? Let's find a show for you to go to. So, if live music is more your speed, right? Saturday night is stacked. Dodie is at Summer Music Hall. Benny is at the Gothic Theater, and if you want something different, Ophelia's Electric Soapbox has a Mac Miller live band tribute Saturday night. Nostalgics is spinning at Meow Wolf if you're in the mood for something more immersive. Rest in peace, Mac Miller. I don't think anyone understands how Mac Miller is just so incredible. A lot of people understand it, but that's beside the point, right? So let's get into comedy. So the Board Teachers Comedy Tour is at the Paramount on Saturday. That's kind of the big comedy event that I found for this weekend. I want to find more and kind of have like a list rolling for you guys. I want to bring stand-up comedians in here too. We have a lot of stuff we want to do. So, sports fans. The Colorado Mammoth hosts an Ottawa Black Bears on Saturday. The Rapids take on the LA Galaxy Saturday as well. And the Avalanche close out the weekend against the Minnesota Wild on Sunday. I'm not a big sports guy, but I am learning for you, friends. I want to be able to share everything that's happening in Denver, even if I don't know everything about the sports world. Um, but with that being said, let's get back to community. Your free and community events. Okay, if you want to do something free, the Horseshoe International Women's Day Market is Sunday at the Arch on Walnut Street. Local vendors, all women owned, and a No Man's Land Film Festival, an all women and gender non-conforming adventure film festival is at the MCA Denver Holiday Theater on Saturday. It's their 11th year. Expect 25 plus films, live music, panel discussions, and an artist market. Doors open at 11 a.m. for the matinee and 4:30 for the evening programming. And don't forget, the Molly Brown House Museum is free all day Sunday. Whatever you're into this weekend, there is no excuse to stay home, okay? And it looks like we're basically almost out of time. Today's show just kind of flew by. I guess I went a little too fast, right? Um, so let me just kind of give you one more quick story for the update. So daylight savings time reminder, and so don't forget, clocks bring forward 1 hour at 2 a.m. Sunday. Set it before bed Saturday, or if you got most smartphones do it by themselves, okay? But just keep an eye out. You know, if you wake up and your phone doesn't match your oven or whatever, that's why. So, before we wrap up today's show, a quick thank you to our sponsor, ADA Concrete. When it comes to concrete, quality matters because you only get one shot to do it right. ADA Concrete provides professional work for both homes and businesses across Colorado. From driveways, garage floors, and sidewalk to commercial foundations, concrete slabs, asphalt, and even snow removal. Their team is known for reliable service and work built to last in Colorado's tough winter. No shortcuts, no rush jobs, no solid work. If you're planning a project, give 88 Concrete a call today at 720-987-8206. That's 720-987-8206. 88 Concrete, proudly serving all of Colorado. Well, we did it, folks. That was our show. I feel like we went a little fast today, but that's okay. Um, we're trying something new. That's what this is all about, right? But thank you to those that are listening from our Facebook page. Thank you to those that are listening on the radio. Thank you to those that are listening on TikTok. It is a blast, as always, to be here to serve y'all with the fresh news that's happening this week. But with that being said, we're going to get right back to the music, what we came for, right? So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you Wednesday. All right. Mr. Henry, can you take me off? No, I'm done with the show. Can you take me off? Well, folks, what did you think of the show? I had a good time today. This is like the after show, I guess. But what's up with everyone? We just finished the show. If you're swinging by, what's going on? What's going on? What'd y'all think of the show? I know we went kind of fast today. I tried this new thing where um, the stories were way longer, and I didn't want stuff to not fit. So I guess I just didn't put enough content in there. That's on me. That's on me. But usually the show runs about 30 minutes. But today the biggest story is the measles and the snow, and that's all anybody wants to know about and be up to date about. And of course, Polis. Everyone wants to know what Polis is up to always, right? But yeah, I hope you folks enjoyed the show. We'll be back Wednesday. I'm probably gonna start going live a lot more on this account to show like what I've been up to. I know that like I've disappeared from this account for like a year, but I'm back. I'm at a radio station. I got my own show now, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time. But with that being said, I'm gonna get back to work. These stories aren't gonna write themselves, y'all. Okay. But thank you so much for tuning in to KUHS Colorado. Henry, I can't hear the music for some reason. you take it off Facebook?
Oh,
Sorry.